Welcome to the first episode of Kansas Libertarians Today. My name is Chris Clemens. I'm the 3rd District Coordinator for the Libertarian Party of Kansas. With me is my co-host,
Ross Patrick, the Chair of the Wyandotte County Libertarians.
So the first episode, we're going to focus on what is Libertarianism and why is it important to us. Ross Patrick, if you'd like to go ahead and get us started on that.
Chris, Libertarianism is important to me because it's about the individual having certain rights that the government can't erode. And the Constitution putting limits on government to make sure our government doesn't get too big and tyrannical.
And honestly, for me, it's a very similar, for libertarian, for me, is all about personal liberty and personal responsibility. Individual freedom should be the focus of our government. We should be getting out of the way of the individual and allowing them to live their lives as they see fit. So with me, especially, and what got me into libertarianism was I kind of, growing up, especially in high school, I was a big history buff. And I always remember, reading about the Constitution and our founders and how absolutely brilliant they were in putting together this document that really focused on the fundamental pillars of individual liberty. And as I really kind of focused on what was going on in the political arena today and really started paying attention to what laws were passed, what regulations there were, and what was actually just going on a day-to-day basis, I realized that our constitutional liberties really aren't the solid, untouchable document that we thought it was.
Yeah, well, we grew up thinking that.
Right, we grew up thinking that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a dystopian, realization for me. So, for me, I wanted to get involved in libertarianism, at least the Libertarian Party, and start running for office to try and restore our constitutional liberties.
It's about rolling things back to where the individual actually gets those rights, and those rights aren't, let's say, in gray law, taken away, such as the Patriot Act we have today, where Fourth Amendment is being eroded because of safety. Right. Where we say Fourth Amendment is the Fourth Amendment no matter what. You cannot search a person, place, or things without a warrant. And this is being eroded with the NSA and phone tapping, where they can collect a large amount of data on you without actually having a warrant. And that's a violation of the individual's right to privacy and an individual's right to their own person.
You bring that up. I remember specifically 2 summers ago when Edward Snowden came out with his big revelations on what the NSA was actually doing. And that was the exact point when I said, okay, I'm fed up, enough is enough. I'm going to do something about it if nobody else is. And that's actually why I decided, run for U.S. Congress like I did in 2014, and why I continue to push for liberty today.
Interesting. The thing that made me really get into libertarian, and also not just get into libertarianism, but believe I have to be active in libertarianism, was when I was researching the national debt. And I was just thinking, how are we ever going to pay this off? And I really mathematically could not figure out how we were actually going to pay this off. And that's when I just started doing more research into the different institutions of the federal government. And is the federal government too big? That's a good question we all need to ask ourselves.
All right, well, to keep things short, that's our first episode for Kansas Libertarians Today. Again, I am Chris Clemens.
Ross Patrick.
And in the comment section below the video, you can go on ahead and tell us, what does libertarianism mean to you?